Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blade Bias Podcast, where we talk about things, topics, and sharp flippy boys. But I promise it's not sharp, YouTube. Don't demonetize and take down our video. That is actually sharp. I lied. This isn't.
You're not supposed to tell them that. No, it's... Anyway.
Welcome back, everybody.
We're not going to poke the bear. Welcome back to
we
our...
can poke the bear, but with a blunt object that will not do anything for any reason. It's
spoiling
just,
your little project there.
You open a bottle. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that. Lots of things have happened.
Lots of things have happened, because this is actually January. I'm dating myself so that I actually released this not 4 months after we recorded
January.
it like last year. Hopefully you're having a good January.
Yeah, my January
it's totally
is great.
Not March.
Yeah, my December was also great, but December was not when we recorded the first episode of this podcast that we did.
No.
Just you and me. That was like, August, which was great.
Yeah. Yep. It's okay, though. But not many people noticed, surprisingly.
Yeah, that weirdly held up. We, of course, tried to make it not like, this is news topics. We're just going to talk about general things, which was a great play.
It was amazing. It was his idea, so...
There we go. So now that we're current, and it is not August, it is January.
January. It's definitely January.
A lot of things have happened in that time. We've been on some adventures. We did a Balisong tier list. That was like 5 hours long. That was great.
You released a product?
A product? Ooh.
Oh.
A product? Ooh, if I can focus. Ooh. And wow, it's so blown out by this light. Jesus. Ooh, a product. Ooh. And then a customized product. Ooh. Video will probably be released at some point. I don't know when, but in January. I promise it's in January. Yeah, we got that. You hosted. What did you host, Ethan? Tell the people.
The Bali Awards, the thing that I'm the most known for, I think, in this community. The place where we show a bunch of love to Balisong creators and content creators, and we give them awards that mean absolutely nothing, but we treat them like they do.
You're really working up the winners of that of that show. There you go. Like, wow, here's an award. Do something with it. Maybe you'll find something. I don't know.
Hey,
this is just a piece of shit.
You got voted on. That's amazing. But like,
we did. Yes, very.
You get bragging rights.
That's
oh no,
true.
I wasn't saying you. I was saying you in like a general sense. Like,
oh wow. So I'm just really selfish now.
Yeah. No, I'm just
because
kidding.
I assumed you were talking about me.
You guys won. Which we'll get into the winners sometime later in the podcast, but that was pretty cool. And then
I voted for you. I voted for you for most adorable. That wasn't a category.
That's so sweet.
Your advertisements for the Bali Awards were genuinely just hilarious, and they were great. You did an awesome job.
The one that I forgot to include in the actual live stream.
No, the Instagram video you did where you just fade in.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be my thing. I think I'm just gonna fade in.
Yeah, it was great.
It's a really generic thing, but it was fun to make. I was happy with that.
Yeah. Another core thing that to tease what's coming up in this podcast, we talked about a plethora, one might say, of bread.
Big words. We did.
Bread. We talked about a lot of bread
comments
related to things. A lot of comments about that.
A lot of comments.
I love comments. We might have to revisit some of that debate because, again, it's been like 5 months since we had that debate, and I have some additional thoughts and concerns. So maybe we'll revisit that, but not going to.
I have additional hatred in my heart for your viewpoint.
Okay, yeah, that's what I've loved about this time away from doing the podcast is it's just really allowed me to really reflect on my hatred and my negativity and let that build within me. And alter, like start to infect the different areas of my life. Like I've been a lot more aggressive towards my loved ones, all because of this bread debate that's been boiling inside me.
We're just dropping rocks in the first 5 minutes of the podcast. Let's go.
There you go. I mean, we're reeling people in, right?
Those rocks are
you
sinking.
reeled in, dear viewer? Look at us go.
Come on, fish women. There's something
Fish
like
women.
that.
Yeah.
In the Blade Show
women.
video that I finally released in January. Oh no, he's still haunted by them.
Go watch the Blade Show video that Ethan released on his main channel if you want to understand that reference in the slightest.
I think it's so funny that interview was me and you were like, the fish women. And because I was just so out of it at that point, half of the review I was just staring at the camera like I wanted to die. But it just made it so much better because it was like the fish women. Oh my God.
Well, and I was out of it too. That's what was funny for me watching it. I didn't realize how long you were just staring into nothingness. So yeah, we have some great memories. It was great. Yeah. But in terms of where we go from here, I guess probably most people know about it now, but I'm willing to start with
let's do it. The Vulp,
this bad boy
Pro.
I weirdly don't have my I can't grab that thing at all. The thing that I almost grabbed. That you know what that is. The audience does not know what that is. I can't find here's an orange one. Here we go. The Vulp Pro. My red one is disassembled because I made this bad boy and did all of that.
It looks so good.
Of that fun stuff. I'm very happy with it. But yes, the Vulp Pro exists. It's been released. Things have been said. Ethan made a video on Blade Bias, a couple of videos about the Vulp Pro, thoughts on the Vulp Pro. And overall, there's been some bumps in the road with the release. There's been some feedback that we've gotten, some stuff that'll be changing. But overall, in terms of like the flipping and the quality of it, Ethan, what do you think of the Vulp Pro? Because I'm not going to sit here and shill it the whole time.
I mean, yeah, you're the maker of it, so designer of it partially. It's a whole complicated thing.
It's mostly Will.
Yeah. Partial design, but still you would have a lot of bias. So let's throw it over to someone who got sent it for free, which people probably still don't trust. But anyway, I like it. I think it's good. I really like it. It's just a Vulp, but so much better, and that is just amazing.
Yeah, it to me, trying to set aside any bias I have, it is just the grip is much better. I really like the finish. It combines, or it chaplains so much better. The balance overall,
on my offhand.
I prefer.
Oh no,
it sounds. Oh, there it goes. It sounds so much better. Or not so much better, but just more my taste.
I'd say it sounds so much better, for sure.
And the goal of it was to kind of combine all the things that Will and I like. You got G10, we like G10. You got the kind of Kraken-esque polished finish. You got the good jimping, and we like the Vulp too, so it's like, let's combine all that. And then the Cygnus has an incredible design, and so drew some inspiration from that, and then here's the Vulp Pro. And overall, the reception seems to be pretty good. There's some issues with handle gap. There's some issues with pivots the bottom hardware not being able to come out super efficiently. The G10 should get a little bit easier to remove. So a couple things like that, which are just kind of standard first launch, first production things that'll get worked out in the future.
That's good. I am it's genuinely such an exciting design to me because I think I could go on record as saying this is one of the most accessible yet innovative designs that we've seen in a while. Topped only by maybe something like the Swordfish or maybe the Squiddy AL. But like the ability to have this really, really intricate G10 design that goes along the sides and all of that for the price that you guys got this at, which is $140, is pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty awesome. I know some people have a problem with that price, and I have a problem with those people. No, I'm just kidding. But that's been a debate that I've been having for a long time.
Oh yeah, it was something we knew was going to be divisive. What I can say on it is like with the Vulp, we made very, very, very little, and this is a lower volume. There's a lot. The tolerances are way better. They're spending way more time putting these things together. You went from, it just being a channel aluminum. I have one somewhere. No, I had it next to me. Where did it go? Vulp. Vulp.
Vulp. I have a Vulp. Do you need a Vulp?
Vulp. But so I was just gonna say, it's channel. It was just channel aluminum. Now it's like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 G10 pieces, and the additional hardware at the bottom. It's like just the assembly time is a lot higher for the Vulp Pro, and like it's a collaboration product where we get royalties. Royalties have to be accounted for, so it's a little bit more. So overall, I would give the design award to the Cygnus, just because it was the first one to do it. But the Vulp Pro is not a clone, I promise. Like, there's design similarities, but one of the biggest things. Let me adjust focus here. One of the biggest things, sandwich channel. That's a pretty. That's a pretty large difference.
It's sort of on the same thing as, oh hey, Squid made the swordfish and then Remshi came out with the Kuno. It's like, that's not a clone. Squid introduced a new way to do ballast songs, a new design to implement. So someone else doing something similar is not cloning it.
Yeah.
Which I would like. The Cygnus introduced this new, really interesting way of integrating G10 into your handles, which I would expect is going to be more popular eventually.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And there's only so many ways that you can do that too. Mm-hmm. So those that have concerns about it, I get it. Like, if that's how you felt, that's fine. And if that's how you currently feel, cool, great. But it's definitely not a clone. I promise it's not a clone. It takes design inspiration, which when you're doing art, it's kind of the whole thing. You take inspiration from other pieces of art, and you're like, I want to do something kind of like that, but a little bit different. Is the Vulp a clone of the Squid Trainer because it's channel aluminum?
Hey, people hate glider for that exact reason.
I don't know. Like, I guess. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, people crap on glider all the time.
Because the OG was
Squid Industries clone.
It was a Squid clone. It's so funny.
Yeah. So anyway,
but yeah, you guys have done a really, really good job on the Vulp Pro. I have to commend you guys for. I mean, I'm including you in this. I know Will mostly designed it, but the upgrades were just, mwah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a whole journey, and yeah, even though I didn't design the thing, but I am knee deep in every bit of the development of it, all the pricing discussions, distribution discussions, color discussions, everything is a tag team. Will doesn't say anything or approve anything without my approval. I don't do anything without his approval. It's a whole long process.
Your team.
But yeah, I'm knee deep in it, and that's why I made this, which may be in a video that is released on the Will Hirsch YouTube channel at this point, that the point of this video is releasing, but maybe not. This is my custom Vulp Pro that I made with zippy inserts that look awesome. I did the G10 dyeing myself, and it was one of the reasons I was very excited about the Vulp Pro, because I have a lot of customized ballast songs in a lot of different ways, and
it's kind of your thing.
Have gone to the lengths of doing this kind of bullshit, and it was really, really fun. There's a whole video about how I made this and what I think about it, but overall it is pretty dang sweet. It even has the small little G10 pieces are dyed. They have a fade along with everything else, which is a whole journey in itself, but it was very, very fun.
Did you do something to the blade? Or is it just how the light is catching it?
The blade is acid washed.
You did do... That's what I was trying... I was looking at it. I was like, that's not a normal blade.
I did not acid wash it.
Oh.
That blade was from an initial test batch that Nabalis did for the original Vulp Pro, which you will never be able to buy, which was just a small upgrade to the Vulp, which had 7075 aluminum, but it had this little speed channel there.
I tried that.
Yeah, you did. Tee. But it was from this. This doesn't have an acid wash one, but there's one of them, and it's this one because at this stage of the process, we were like we weren't happy with the handle design, but the blade design was finished, so I was able to just take it from that other one, retune the bushings a bit, and so yeah, this is the only acid washed Vulp Pro blade that is official from Nibalis that exists, and maybe we'll do it in the future, maybe we won't. But yeah, I was like, if I want to go full custom with it, I have to use this weird one-off blade. Right. And it's really good. It flips really well. It's using the zippy inserts. The zippy inserts are very worth it. Removing the bottom hardware does change the flipping in a pretty substantial way, but not in like, it's just different. And it doesn't carry momentum as well. When you remove that.
It still does okay.
Like, yeah. It combined with the blade inserts is not something Zippy recommends, nor I recommend taking out the bottom hardware and adding the blade inserts, but it still flips well enough, and overall this is an aesthetic thing, so I'm just gonna keep it like it is.
Right.
But yeah, whole video about that.
Woo! In January.
Anyway, we can move on from shilling the Vulp for the first forever of this podcast. Tell us about the Bali Awards, Ethan.
I wonder why they think that we're so biased about the Vulp Pro. The Bali Awards, yay! My big project that was a lot of work this year and is going to need to have some serious changes next year. But it was great. Besides a few little, let's say hiccups at the beginning of the stream, I think it went pretty well. I got a lot of people saying they enjoyed it. Thank you. I had a new viewer record. I think we hit like 230 viewers, which for me is just the thing that was controversial about it was some of the winners of some of the awards.
Yeah, I'm curious what stands out to you in this moment as the most controversial.
The most controversial.
Definitely creator of the year.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely creator of the year, where you won for putting in like full-time hours into your videos each and every week, versus my channel.
They take
3 hours of work altogether.
Our videos take no time at all. I definitely haven't spent the last like 9 days in a row working on just YouTube content, and have 10 days to go. But that's a whole separate journey that I'll touch on at the end of the podcast as to why I'm putting myself through that.
So you guys, like,
they take no time.
Obviously, huge upset. Like, the effort that you put in doesn't nearly match what I do on this channel. I can't even make this joke. Like, I can't even say this ironically. This is just
like you having the boldness to look absolutely fucking goofy with that DJI camera strapped to your forehead. I've done it now. I've made videos on the Will Hirsch Flips channel. It is goofy as hell. You don't do it in public. Will goes out and does it in public, and that I'll always respect.
I don't think I could do that. I can barely flip in public. Like, I don't want to do that in public with my unicorn horn. At least Will has like, he does it in a way where it like points down and it makes a little bit of sense. But my head mounts like in a goofy angle, and it's a whole thing. But the most I do want to know what your opinions on this are, but I think the one that I was absolutely like shitting myself for was probably the EDC category or the legacy category. Either one of those two.
The legacy one was the one that stood out to me as like, how do we move forward with this? Mm-hmm. Like, how does something win the lovely legacy? Like, does it get removed after it wins? Can it win lovely legacy multiple years in a row? And I just Den, I love his rant on why it should be
so good.
What the 42, the Benchmade 42. And then it was just the Kraken.
the longest presentation by a country mile, where he spent maybe 10 seconds of it talking about the Kraken, and then
yes,
and the reveal where he was in like Zoom call attire. It was just beautiful.
yes,
and I mean,
yeah.
he looked great in his little bow tie. I was like, dead dressed up.
I know,
for my
yeah,
event. That's so cute.
It was beautiful. Much different than hitting a Brandon clone with an exploding hammer.
That was good too, though. You gave us your secret formula. You gave us the Krabby Patty secret formula, and now we can make our own.
Hey, I'm here for the people. You know, I'm here to serve.
I live to serve. So what do you think? Like, is there one that you didn't particularly like agree with, or you thought was like, that's a little goofy?
I don't know that there were ones I disagreed with. I feel like everyone that won, like, it made sense. It was more so people that weren't nominated that I felt like should have been or could have been nominated.
That makes sense.
Like Den being in there for Creator of the Year, Disuko being in there for Creator of the Year, and and that's important to me, being in the content creation space. Like, I just see all that. Probably the biggest thing that I don't disagree with, I just hit my mic, I'm so sorry, that I don't disagree with people with, was the best edits category.
Yes.
I am in the camp that Balisong Nerd was robbed.
I think that category, because here's the thing, like, I don't want to say that Jelly, like, oh, he didn't deserve it or anything like that, because that's just not true.
No.
But if you look at both of their accounts, Balisong Nerd has released, tens of edits, like a lot of edits, like high production, really good stuff. And I think the last flipping clip from Jelly was in like summer or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's released 2 this year. So I was more in the camp of like, I think it would have been a little better if Balisong Nerd's extreme effort got a little more recognized than Jelly spinning a Kraken on the floor. It was still a cool video. Don't get me wrong. I love that video. But yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. But that was probably the only one that fell into the like, oh, really? Wow. Huh. Like that I had that reaction.
I'd say EDC as well. Because the Kraken is
that was like, I know how popular the Kraken is.
Right.
And I also know how popular Jelly is. So that was like, that fell into like, that's a popularity contest kind of thing. And I guess maybe you could say that about Jelly too, who's an unbelievably incredible flipper and has done some awesome stuff for this hobby. Even the stuff that he produced with Squid before he left Squid, like, made some awesome videos with them. The tutorials they did, the Blade Show stuff they did. Like him and Roy, who's their other production guy, like video guy at Squid Industries, were just crushing it.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I feel like even maybe down the line, Squid Industries could get Creator of the Year,
possibly,
or be a contender for it, because they got like 100,000 subscribers now, and they're pumping out awesome tutorials and content, and even like reaction videos, content. They're following a formula that was established by somebody.
Are you saying they cloned? Squid Industries cloned your videos.
Squid Industries is a Will Hirsch clone.
It's because, so similar. You know what they did?
They recorded a video with a camera. We're the only content creators on YouTube using cameras. Actually, wait, Ethan, are you using a fucking camera?
No.
What? That's our thing.
I just hit my desk really hard. Yeah. Something fell.
God, they have 134,000 subscribers.
No, they're crushing it, genuinely.
They're killing it.
What was I gonna say?
They're gonna pass us in like, I don't know, a few months.
Possibly.
Like,
you never know. I've had a lot of their shorts coming up on my feed. Not my like shorts feed, but like suggested in the YouTube homepage. Get the shorts off my YouTube homepage, YouTube, please. Anyway. I don't want them there. That's a completely different thing. But yeah, I was gonna make it's like when the Fine Bros tried to copyright the React formula, or the word React.
Yeah.
It's like that. They cloned our videos. Brandon and me and Will are the only ones who can react to flippers on Instagram.
Yeah, we're the first people to do React content, which is being so well received these days, and maybe is why we haven't recorded another one in a bit. Because that is a whole can of worms.
Controversy, yes.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Us Balisong flippers, we love controversy. We're just here. We're here
so
to just
true.
flip, and we're here to just be really aggressive all the time.
So true. But I think the Bali Awards I need to find, because I totally agree in the sense that all the winners like deserved their place there. Even if the Kraken I don't think is a very good like EDC, because you know aluminum and you have problems with blades rusting and all that. It's still a very good knife.
Yeah, yeah. It's just white bread though.
Hey, we can't pivot yet. Hold on.
I'm quoting you. I'm quoting you. I'm quoting.
We'll get there. It was. I think I need to find a system in between, because I don't like how either of the years have went. I think the first year it was me and Ty sat down in a room like, what should we give for mid-tier Balisongs? And we just listed out a bunch. And then this year it was community driven, but I do think there could have been a little bit more work into like you mentioned Denden. Denden was a huge one that I think probably should have been on that ballot for Creator of the Year, considering he's one of the only other channels I can think of consistently doing reviews, like really consistently doing reviews.
Yes, yeah. And putting like his production, like he doesn't have like the equipment that Will and I do, and isn't putting like the editing time in, but he's like structuring them well, right? Putting a lot of work, putting a lot of thought, and like really diving into like a lot of different stuff that a lot of people don't talk about. It's not like he's just covering the big name things. Like he's doing some really cool stuff on some very specific products. So yeah, I think and his videos crack me up. Like they genuinely like he's hilarious.
They do. Like, I love Denden. When I first saw him, I was like, this guy is too like. I think the first video I saw of his was his Firefly Talon review, like the V1 Firefly. Okay. And I was like, this guy is too much for me. But nowadays I'm like, I fucking love this guy.
Yeah. No, he's wonderful. But so you said like, there were issues with the first year, issues with the second year. What's like a core thing you're looking to rectify? You think there were more issues with this year?
No, I think there were like a similar amount of issues this year, because I don't like the entire nomination process being one person or two people, but I also don't like the nomination process being entirely in the hands of the community, because then it's just a popularity contest rather than like who is doing like I hesitate to say objectively, but like objectively the best work. Or some of the most impactful work or stuff like Disico releasing one of the best intro to Balisong videos that I've ever seen. Yes. I think that was definitely worthy of some sort of nomination in some of the category. So I think I need to figure out, I'm going to do a lot of thinking, a lot of talking with different people about what's a good solution to the problem of making nominations not a popularity contest, but also not just putting all of that power into the group, like a small group of people. Yeah, which is going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Yes, no, we've discussed that a little bit on in your streams on your main channel, or I was watching people talk about it and chimed in a couple times. And that is a very tough thing, finding a balance of community input and not having like a small group of people. Like I think at one point people were like, oh yeah, I do like Machine Y, or like Dalen and Lucas and Brandon and Will. And like we all know a lot, but that's like a core part of a lot of the nominations for different things between.
And it's not like
Nabalis products, Machine Y's products, Squid Industries products. Like I think we all could be very objective with it and try to spread it out as much as we could. But in terms of like from an outsider looking in, like, the people that did the nominations are the makers of the ones that are winning, like, Balisong of the year, like that's a little sketchy. I could totally see somebody feeling that way,
because it was already a little, I'm not going to say it was a controversy, but it was still a point that Blade Bias was nominated, which
I supported. I supported Blade Bias being nominated.
I appreciate that, but that was a understandable sticking point for a few people. I didn't see a ton of people like actually having a huge issue with it, but I know some people were like, that seems a little weird. I agree. I talked about it on my story, but mainly the reason that I did that was because Blade Bias isn't just me, it was me and Ty. So by me saying, oh, I can't be nominated would rob Ty of his ability to be recognized for what he did on Blade Bias this year, and I didn't think that was completely fair. And also it was community nominated. It was, it was the most nominated creator. Like, I don't know how Blade Bias had more nominations than you guys, which was crazy. So I felt like it would kind of been weird to not, you know?
I mean, to me, there's different draws for different reasons. Obviously, a lot of the audience of the Bali Awards is they follow you. So a lot of people are like, probably like, I want Ethan to win. But also, like, you provide a different form of content that, to me, is some of the most consistent, like, Bala song critique out there. And then, like, you've been so consistent with your uploads for really from the beginning of Blade Bias.
Give or take
even more than Will has on the Will Hirsch Flips channel. I've been doing my best on the Will Hirsch main channel to keep that cog turning of trying to keep producing videos. That's why I've been producing videos that are 100% all me, which are great. Scripting, writing, shooting, editing, lighting, distribution, everything. I'm doing my best. But we're at the point that channel at this point that channel should be called Will Hirsch and Brandon, not just Will Hirsch.
That's that's the reason that you were there in the nominations, Will Hirsch and Brandon.
Yes,
Baker.
And I appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. But no, I think you offer something different, and I like if next year you win Creator of the Year, like, I will have no quarrels with that whatsoever.
Personally
that's what this is ultimately like. To me, the Bali Awards is, let's shine a light on these people that they get exposure, but, like, you know, it's like any award show. You're recognizing the things just really cool things that people are doing, and I think Blade Bias offers a very unique and consistent view into the battle song hobby that you can't really get from even something like Will and I's main videos, where those are very highly produced, so you really have to pick and choose what you're making. And Will has his second channel. You know, there's times where, you know, he'll go 2-3 months without uploading anything, which is just, that's life, and there's a whole lot that goes into all that. But I think you've been crushing it over there. So if you win next year, fair game.
I personally am very happy that you guys won, because right now, for sure, I don't think there's anyone out there. I'm saying this to the guy that makes the videos. Make your funny comments, whatever. I don't think there's anyone doing better content than you guys are in the battle song hobby. There are some people that are coming close, like on like battle song nerds doing some really, really cool stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's like 1 to 2 minutes compared to you guys' 20 minutes in some cases. So I think that was a highly deserved award. I would have been a little upset if I won. I'm not going to lie.
Well, thank you.
I would have been robbed.
To pat myself on the back a little bit, it is quite a journey creating, for example, essentially a battle song game reality show that is shot and edited like a game show or a game reality show. That is pretty much it all comes back to me. Like Will, like he helped refine the idea, was of course part of it, and made it so entertaining. And so, like, it's very much still a tag team thing, but you don't do that kind of thing on accident.
I think
there's a lot of work that goes into that.
I think that series deserved the nomination in and of itself. That was
it was a very fun series.
But let's stop glazing ourselves on our own podcast.
That's what you're here for, right?
10 minutes of us just I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. So yeah, the Bali Awards changes need to be made. But overall, I'm happy with it. Like you
crushed it.
It brought a lot of people together. I saw a screenshot of like a group of people watching it like it was a football game. And
it was so cool.
That's insane that people are taking time out of their day to sit around a TV, watch my dumbass with my bad green screen, talk about ballad songs instead of like the multiple football games that were going on at the same time.
No, you crushed it. Like I had a particularly long and kind of rough day that day, but the thing getting me through was like the Bali Awards are happening tonight. Hopefully Ethan does a post Bali Awards stream. It's like it's now like a yearly event. It's like the Super Bowl for ballad songs.
That was the goal. There are so many award shows out there. Why not make one for ballad songs? And it was probably the best idea I've had yet.
No, yeah, you crushed it. And everyone that did the submissions for the presenting the awards.
Oh, the presenters were so good. They were so good.
I actually referenced in the video about wherever the hell it went. Why? How? There it is. In the video about this, I referenced Zippy wearing multiple bathrobes.
That was so sick.
Which was exceptional. Again, Denden's video was great. Disuko did an amazingly edited one. Ty's was funny. Just everyone. They were all a pleasure for sure.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I'm excited to see. I think Pyro kind of set off like a, hey, let's make this a little more like shit posty, and some people kind of followed along that.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where it goes next year. Maybe people will be like, well, I'm going to do something different to stand out, or I'm going to do whatever. It's fun.
Well, and I've been a very busy boy, so that's where with mine, I'm like, I'm going to do a little bit lower effort than I did last year, but now I'm like,
yours was still really good though.
Everyone's like, they're coming for my, why the fuck did he put this much effort into this single presentation video? They're coming for that crown, so I don't even think I took it. Like if you were to do best presentation, I don't think I would have taken it. But next year,
I would.
I gotta put some time. Yeah.
Because I give the credit to the being like funny to Pyro, but you, I think, definitely inspired probably like Daisuko a little bit to putting that much effort into a production or a presentation video.
Yeah.
It was great. It was awesome. Yeah. I loved it. Getting the links and watching them was it was a treat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm so excited for the future years of that. And I would love to be more. I'd love to help too. With future stuff.
I think I'll get
after
a team
seeing
together
what you went
for
through.
Next year. Yeah. I think I'll get a team together for next year. Maybe not even to like do most of the work or whatever. Just to say, hey, you're doing this a stupid way. Maybe do it this way instead. It would be much easier.
Yeah, we got to get you a freaking, even if it's just a pirated copy of Photoshop, so you can just very quickly select things and make them into PNGs and not have to hand cut out every single
Which is what I did. If you don't know, any of the transparent PNGs that came onto screen that weren't edited, some people edited their own videos, which saved me a ton of time, but that was hand cut out by me. It was very fun.
You took a pilgrimage.
Psychopathic. But
yeah, I called you a psychopath.
I said let's stop glazing ourselves, and here we are 10 minutes later still doing it. Should we go over?
I'm wondering where you're going with this.
I'm wondering where I'm going with no. Should we go over? Do we want to go over the tier list, or do we want to save that for a future thing?
We can. I'll say. Let's get to the bread debate. We're gonna circle back to the bread debate. But yeah, I think there's some fun stuff in there with the tier list that we did on my streaming channel. What happens if you search Balisong tier list?
Probably you and Will's video comes up, right?
The first thing that pops up is our stream.
No
Look
way.
At us go.
Really?
Yeah. And then Will and I's.
It's probably because you are on your own YouTube.
Oh, let's see.
Let me look it up.
Let me pop into incognito mode.
If I look it up, it's the same for me.
Yeah. Okay, in incognito mode, it's Will and I's video that we did in 2020,
that makes
which we really
sense.
need to do another one of.
Please do.
Especially because in that video I hadn't even tried like 3/4 of what was talked about, but now I'm so much more well versed than I was.
That'd be a really fun video.
So what we wanted to do before we dive into the bread debate and talk about some of the comments that we got about the bread debate, this bread debate about this divisive little guy, I wanted to go through and look at what the hell we even ranked.
Yep.
And some of the things that stand out to us as, wow, why did we put that there? Because we talked about this in the stream, but one of the biggest problems we had was we ranked the plastic stuff first.
Yeah.
And that kind of threw off a lot of other, like, oh, I can't put something above or below the Tay Flipper, or I'm not even the Tay Flipper, like the Flip Forge Edit or the Calico, and then those kind of all got scrunched together. But so yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and
it's so tough because tier lists at the end of the day really are comparative. Like, what is S tier? What is A tier? Eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, well, here's this ballad song, which I think is way better than this ballad song, so I can't put it below that. It has to go above this, but then that puts it above this thing, which I think is better than it. And it's this whole thing. It's so difficult, and I think it would
genuinely
be better
tough.
Just have a plastic tier.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I completely agree. And that's even, I kind of feel that generally, like comparing like, oh, the Squiddy versus a Tsunami. Like,
yeah,
is that even a fair comparison? That feels like comparing a go-kart to a car. It's like, yeah, they both have wheels that you turn and 4 wheels and a motor, but very, very different things that you're using there.
I, in my mind, have completely separated the plastic and metal market. Like, it's almost just a knee-jerk reaction at this point whenever I talk about them, to just be like, I'm talking about the Squiddy A. I'm not comparing it to the Squiddy AL, even though the price you probably should. But I'm comparing it to the Squiddy B or the Calico or something like that. And it's just an automatic thing that happens. Yeah. So reflecting it there would have been good. Because I was gonna say let's go top to bottom here. Yeah.
So so we got stuff like the Lucha in D tier. I agree. The Dio, the Squiddy, the Bermuda. I guess you probably have to put an image up of this for the podcast to show, so people have context for this. Bermuda, sure. The Nabalish D10, yeah. BB Barfly, yeah. Matata, blah, 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 blah. The one that stands out to me, and we got a comment about this, but the thing to remember, people are like, the Nautilus V2 is above the Cygnus. Really? I died on my hill.
Yeah, you died on your hill.
One hill to die on.
You did die on your hill. I forgot what I died on.
Compromised by not putting it in S tier, and I'm like, top of A tier. That was my hill to die on.
What did I don't even remember what I died on. I was saving it for the Slift T, but yeah, the Slift T
I think
was
you
supposed
thought
to be
you were going to have to
wasn't.
die on a hill. Yeah. The ones that stand out.
No. I died on the. It's being blocked by your face cam. Your ballad song.
It was the
butter knife
the fun
chucks tier.
Yes, the fun chucks.
That's what I died
Yes,
on.
the butter knife is fun chucks tier. That's right. That was your. Yeah, you were saving your hill. That's what it was.
For a ballad song that wasn't on the list ultimately, the Slift T V2, which when we did rank it, you were like, "Hey, let's put it exactly where I wanted to put it." So. Yeah,
I'm a reasonable fellow, you know. I'm a reasonable guy.
Hell yeah. I'm not. But
so
that's just when it comes
what
to
would
the
you
Nautilus.
change? What would you change? I wouldn't put a lot of those plastic ones in A tier. I don't.
Neither would I.
Looking at everything in there, they'd be at most B tier, but ideally their own separate. Here's a plastic tier list.
Yes, because they really are just separate. One that really sticks out to me is the Firefly being below the marbles but above the 50. Also the 50. I don't
We did put the 50 a little up there, didn't we?
Yeah. which I like the 50. I think it's a fun ballast song, but would I put it over the Koenig V2? I don't know about that.
No. Or the Koenig V2, that's actually a picture of the Mako because I'm an idiot.
Oh, that's right.
I wouldn't even put the 50 above like the Arctic, I don't think. And
no.
And the marbles being above the Firefly, I don't really agree with. The Swordfish, I think, is top of B tier. Maybe I could push it into A tier, but the Squiddy AL being above the Swordfish, I don't know.
I think I agree with that because they're right next to each other. I like the Squiddy AL a little more personally, but I could understand how that would be a pain point.
The Cycloid HD, I don't think, is better than the Squiddy AL in terms of flipping.
No. I really think this comes down to me. I think I'm going to take the fall for this because when we recorded this, what was this? This was the November 18th.
November 18th, yeah.
I was so out of touch with the ballast song community at this point. I was just
you were
like
in the thick
late
of school.
November. I was drowning in work. I barely flipped outside of YouTube. So like even just being on break and flipping so much lately has brought me like back into tune, I guess. And looking at this tier list makes me just, what the hell? I think it's still overall I like it. I think there's still some good choices here. Prisma Pro being S tier, Kraken being S tier, Seraph being S tier. I would still agree.
Oh
with
yeah,
those.
White Bread is definitely S tier material.
It is. It is. That's all I'll say. It is.
So the Prisma Pro is also White Bread, Ethan? The Seraph is White Bread?
No.
But the Kraken at the top, highest end of S tier, that's White Bread. But the Seraph and Prisma Pro aren't White Bread.
But it's so good. It's good White Bread.
You know what I describe White Bread as?
What?
Great, amazing, legendary. Words you've used. That's how I...
You know what I would describe sourdough as? Great, amazing, legendary. Just kidding.
You haven't even had sourdough. When you come to Blade Show, we're going to have to like create like a platter for you to try. Like we're going to give it like a little sample platter of
I almost
bread
don't want to do that because then it
try.
would kill the debate right there. I would be like, oh shit, you're so right. And then it would just be over.
No, not even because I want to shut you down. Like I want to know. But we'll circle back.
We'll circle
jump
back,
at the
yeah.
gun. But I have opinions.
We want to talk
and again,
about
we
it,
have
but
to
we
be
have 30 minutes
diametrically opposed.
Yes, that's the bit.
Yeah, that's
not the bit. No, no. We hate each other. We need to be diametrically opposed.
Yeah, it's not a bit. Like I said, my relationship with my loved ones is being affected because I am so boiled up with rage over this very important debate that affects every aspect of my personal, business, and financial life.
My mom gave me white bread in my lunch once, and I just like, oh my god,
you loved it. And you know what? If you love white bread, great. Why? But cool.
Why? Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We need to stall for a little bit longer because I don't think we can talk about it for half.
Oh no, we have a lot. We have a lot
more stuff to talk out.
Yeah. When we ranked the Orion, was that the 1.5?
Yes, I think
it was. Okay.
Was it?
I don't know because I don't remember. I have one right here.
I'm pretty sure we said let's do the 1.5.
Okay, I think we did because honestly, that's pretty low for the 1.5.
You think?
I don't know that I'd put or not pretty low. It's obvious. It's the high end of A tier, but I would maybe put it above the Squid Trainer V4 and maybe even the Prisma V1. Maybe.
I don't know if I would go that far.
We did put it high.
We did put it. Like,
looking
that's
at it again,
$75 knife.
That's in the top 15 of like 60. So
yeah. Which is crazy. I mean, the Orion did sweep at the Bali Awards, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, that's
crush the Vulp, even.
Yeah. Sorry about that one.
Which I only cried for like 6-7 hours about, so it's fine. I got it.
Hey, it won Best Amazon, which Best Amazon is totally going to be an award next year. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely should. Yeah, the Amazon landscape hasn't altered at all in any way in the last or since the first Bali Awards.
Definitely still going to be there next year.
Yeah. Hopefully the Vulp Pro makes it as a
also
contender.
I don't understand. Oh, it will. It will. The only reason the Vulp Pro didn't because it was released a little too late. It was released after nominations closed, I'm pretty sure, or people got them after nominations closed, or something like that.
Yeah, but like even it being nominated, that's not a given.
Well, no,
it's not a given.
I guess you're right,
especially if it's community voted. Not a given. We'll see.
But
so looking at this, you said we need to kill time. Ask your question, and then I'll ask mine.
I was just gonna say I'm looking at the Squiddy A and the Squiddy B and how they're below the Fly Tie Lucha, but also like so far away from the other Plastic Bala songs, which is.
Yeah, you're right.
That's so weird.
That's the Squiddy B is not like 30 spots below the edit to me.
No, not at all.
Which of course B that's a contested thing. So yeah, we'll have to do a Bala song or a Squiddy plastic only tier list.
We'll have to redo
I feel like that would refine a lot of
list.
these decisions. Yeah, we will. Maybe that'll be the next stream we do.
Genuinely, I think that would be either a fun
too.
podcast or stream or something. Just redo.
It could be a
the tier
podcast,
list.
actually. Yeah, that would work as a podcast. I like hearing people's opinions, like as we go. Like what
it was fun.
Put that there. What?
It was
but
fun.
so
I had my people in chat who were like the Nautilus shouldn't. Who were like on my side with the Nautilus, and then you had your people in chat who were on your side with the Nautilus. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. But so my question is, amidst this tier list, where does it go?
Ooh, where would we rank the Vulp Pro?
I'll save mine. I want to know purely where you would rank.
I know we did. We did this for a different Bala song. We ended up saying like almost the same place. So let's see if we're in tune this time. The Vulp Pro.
I haven't even decided, honestly.
Neither have I.
I need to. And again, I'm trying to set myself aside, trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can. I'm not Brandon. I don't know who Nabalis is. I was randomly handed this at Blade Show. Is the way that I try to think about the Vulp Pro and my thoughts on it. It's not S tier.
I agree.
Can say that
Completely.
It's not S tier.
Let's figure out a general spot, and then we'll go 3, 2, 1. Say it.
Okay, a general, like we're just picking one to say.
Well, no, like pick like a space. No, we should say like, oh, it's high C or whatever.
I have mine.
I think I have mine. Again, this is such a goofy tier list because like.
It is. Yeah, I have mine.
Yeah.
I think. Let me look at the other options. Yeah, no, I have mine.
The plastic is just the stuff throwing me off. I'm like, do I want to put it below the plastic stuff? I mean, I think the plastic stuff works if you just ignore everything else. The Edit Light, the Calico are like A tier plastic Bala songs.
You saying that pretty much confirms we're going to be in different spots.
Oh, really?
I think so. But I'm ready. I have my one, like the specific Bala song that I'm going to say that it's close to.
I have mine.
There's one that's throwing me off. There's one that's throwing me off that I'll address, but I have mine.
I have mine, and I think we're thinking of the same thing, throwing each other off.
Okay. All right. You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Nemesis
Prisma V1.
Oh,
wow. Okay, so you're putting it below the Squid Trainer V4, below the Hydra.
So
interesting.
That is... Oh, shit. You're right. I did put it below the Squid Trainer V4. So my thinking was, I saw the Kraken Trainer, and I completely forgot that I now have a Kraken Trainer and would move that way up if I could.
Okay. The thing throwing me off is the Orion, because the Orion is awesome.
The Hydra was throwing me off because I would put the Vulp Pro above the Hydra, below the Kraken Trainer. So I was like,
okay.
And I swear I'm not just saying this because I want to agree with the guy who made the Vulp Pro, but would I put it below the Squid Trainer? Yes.
I was thinking about that.
I would.
In terms of what? Flipping?
In terms of balance, just because the Vulp Pro, while not being as handle biased as I thought it would be, is still more handle biased than I generally prefer, and I also just kind of love the Squid Trainer.
Okay. Yeah.
I would definitely put it above the Orion. I would definitely put it above the Hydra, though.
Okay. Yeah, like, for me, it's a... Like, so when you say the Nemesis V2, is that above or below the Nemesis V2? Or like specifically compared to the Nemesis?
Above. I like it more than my Nemesis. Okay. Genuinely.
Okay. Yeah, I would say... Yeah, I like
the
this.
Nibali's hat on. I just remembered
I
what I had in my head.
noticed you're wearing a Nibalis hat.
Oh, did you not notice when I brought this up
this
before?
Entire time? I did. I just thought, oh, he's gonna put on a hat. Cool. I did not notice that is an actual Nibalis. I don't even have a Nibalis hat.
They sent it with the wing, and I was like, that's unexpected. But you know what? I'm gonna keep up this bit of me wearing free marketing material for different Balisong companies. Last time I wore the goose hat. Now I've got this hat. So maybe we're not helping the unbiased allegation, or maybe we're not helping the biased allegations here.
Yeah, that is really funny. So I guess keeping that in mind, so that half this podcast isn't shilling the Vulp Pro, we'll circle back. We'll maybe do a redo of the tier list. We'll talk about that then. But to wrap up what I was going to say.
Yeah, I want to know what you
think. It's an amalgamation of things for me. Like, it's not just the flipping. It's the, like, especially now that I have like this customized one that is swaying my opinion, but in terms of the overall feel, and somebody that likes G10 a lot, that's what puts it above the Squid Trainer V4. I don't know that I would put above the Prisma V1 though. That I would have to flip the Prisma V1 again. I think I would put it above it. I wouldn't put it above the Medusa.
Oh yeah.
So, but no, I would meet you in the middle if we were doing this again, like live in the live stream. I would meet you in the middle somewhere.
Because yeah, think we would have
the Kraken Trainer V3 is a big, like, that's quite a decision to make. Is it above or below that? I don't even know that I would put it above the Kraken Trainer in terms of flipping.
It took me a long time to figure that out, but I finally settled on I like the Kraken Trainer a tiny bit more, which I will give you credit. The fact that it went toe-to-toe with the Kraken Trainer, which is almost $100 more for that long in my head, is a testament to how good I think the Vulp Pro is. But
that is music to my ears. Not from a, like, oh yay, somebody likes our thing. You were the person I was most concerned about.
Yeah, I know, and I left you hanging for weeks.
I need to know what this guy thinks. Not from like, oh, I'm scared he's not going to like it. It's like, I want the feedback, and I know Ethan is going to give really good objective feedback. And if he thinks it sucks, he's going to tell me it sucks. He's going to tell the audience it sucks, and I want to know that. Not because I want to stop it, because it's just I want to know because you have really good feedback.
Thank you. But yeah, Kraken Trainer, bump that shit up. Vulp Pro.
So where would that go?
Kraken Trainer, probably above the Prisma V1 for me, maybe below it, but definitely above the Squid Trainer.
Yeah, I agree.
I was so neutral on the Kraken Trainer V3 from the first time that I had tried it. It was just such a nothing burger to me. But now that I've flipped one for weeks, I'm like, it's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, definitely just white bread.
The Kraken Trainer? Oh, the Kraken Trainer, I would say, is even more white bread than... It's like shittier white bread than the actual Kraken.
Shittier white bread.
Yeah, because it's still a really boring flipper.
So, deploy yours real quick. How much of your opinion changing has to do with that zippy insert?
None.
None?
Because I flipped it...
You have the same opinion of it with and without the insert.
I flipped it and formed my opinions on it without the insert. But I only have the insert
Oh.
because the ring gives me just the worst headache ever.
Oh, fair. Yeah, fair.
There's no weight in it. It's just the insert. So we're
Yeah,
talking a point. It's a difference, but it's very small.
I see. Gotcha. Okay, well, we will circle back in a future stream or podcast to the tier list.
Stay tuned.
But so now, we said in the last podcast we would talk about some comments that we got from different people about the great bread debate. Which, to sum it up, Ethan says that, and Ethan, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not going to throw opinions in here. I'm just going to try to sum it up. That the live blade Crackerakin is white bread because it is, or it's the white bread of Balisongs because it's good at everything, but it doesn't stand out in a particular way. And it can, like, you can use it for anything and it would be good enough, but it's not amazing. I feel that that is selling it short, and that the Kraken is sourdough bread because you get that little bit of extra care, that little bit of extra flavor, and the reason it's good at everything is because it's sourdough bread, and it has that extra level of flippability that allows it to be universally applicable. And we ultimately found that we just have different opinions on the bread. At the end of the day, is the core crux of the argument is we just have different opinions of the bread.
No, don't peel the curtain.
Don't peel back similar feelings. Yeah. We both really like it a lot and think it's great, but here's the thing that I want to throw at you, Ethan.
Hopefully,
I wish you had this thing in front of you. But I want you to imagine you are holding a piece of white bread. How do you describe that piece of white bread? What words do you use?
70-75 aluminum, basic.
Fuck you. No, imagine the bread. Put down the Kraken. Pure bread.
Red. It's white bread. You put it on a sandwich. It just is fine. It's not standing out on that sandwich, but it's not harming that sandwich. So, the flavor is nothing. It exists. It stands on the sandwich, but it's not really going to mess anything up. You're not going to think a sandwich is amazing because of the white bread. But you're also not going to think the sandwich is bad because of the white bread. And I think that sums up the flipping of the Kraken perfectly. The overall package of the Kraken is very good, the sandwich. But the flipping of it is not going to enhance or ruin that for you because it's not inherently the most exciting flipper out there. Incredibly consistent, yes, but so is white bread, in my opinion. And
so
I saw a
you
few
think
comments
white
about
bread
it.
is amazing?
We're talking good white bread. We're not talking the shitty store brand white bread. We're talking the more premium white bread out there.
How much does this loaf of white bread cost?
I don't even think I could answer that question. I'm so out of touch when it comes to
for me, I shop at Aldi. I'm an Aldi shill. A loaf of white bread goes for about 85 cents.
Is that good white bread? Or
that's their store brand white bread.
Okay, so we're talking more than
a higher end white bread would be like $3 or $4.
So yeah, we're talking $3-4.
Okay. Which is about the same price as sourdough. Sourdough is maybe more like $4 or $5.
I go to college, man. I don't grocery shop. I go to the cafeteria and I order.
Oh, yeah, I'm a
steak
28-year-old adult. Aldi is great. If you're an adult, shop at Aldi, please. But so you said all of that. Would you describe white bread as great?
No, not on its own.
Okay. Would you describe white bread as amazing?
So if the sandwich it was on is amazing, then yes. It kind of morphs
But
into...
white bread on its own, is it amazing?
Oh, it's just kind of standard.
Okay, you used the terms great and amazing to describe the Kraken.
Because people would
multiple times. Oh, this is a development. You're doing it.
People, no, I'm not. The Kraken
for the people.
So you think you got me?
I don't think I got. I'm like, this isn't me like, oh, I got you in a corner. I want to know why white bread is not great or amazing, but the Kraken is great and amazing, and the Kraken is white bread. I'm genuinely curious where that meshes together.
So I think the disconnect here is that when I'm talking about white bread, I'm generally talking about flipping the Kraken, which I don't know if we explicitly... I don't remember what the rules that we set up were. Gee, if only someone released the podcast earlier. I don't really remember like the specific rules that we had laid out, but I'm talking mostly about the flipping. I think the overall package of the Kraken is quite good, which I talked about in my review, but the flipping experience of it is standard. It's an amazing standard, which I would agree. White bread is not an amazing standard, but it is a standard. There is a level.
The Kraken is an amazing standard, but white bread is not an amazing standard, but the Kraken is white bread. Do you see?
I do.
Where I'm getting a little confused.
They're both the standard, though. When you say sourdough, you're talking about something that I wouldn't exactly say is standard because there's something special about it.
And that's where we're opposed. I feel like there's something special about the Kraken that allowed it to become the standard. It wouldn't have become the standard if there wasn't something special about it. And maybe you could say that about white bread. There's like, hey, we found a way to make like a bread that's cheap, that is good enough.
Yeah, why is it everywhere?
To me,
why is it everywhere?
Is the Kraken everywhere? The Kraken is universally. You can get it all the time. Live blade cracker rackets are always available.
I mean, why is white bread is like just kind of like it's out there. There's so many of them. I would say there's a lot of Krakens out there.
Here's a question: what is the Vulp to you?
The Vulp? Do you
in
really
terms of
want
bread?
Me to be honest about that?
Yeah, I'd probably say you'd say is shitty white bread, or it's not even shitty white bread. It's like some random fucking hot dog bun.
Yeah, I would honestly. Yeah.
Okay, why?
It's a really like weird hot dog bun that happens to come in some of the most premium packaging that you can find for the price. You get like you get like a metal like bread box when you buy these hot dog buns, but then you open that metal bread box, and then if you're really hungry, that bread's going to be great. But once you get fuller, the bread becomes less good, which is an allegory for how the Vulp is really good when you're a beginner, but it doesn't grow with you as much as I wish it would.
So is white bread really good when you first try it, and is a very good starter bread, but then as you move on, you're like, oh, I want to make a sandwich. I don't want to make it with just white bread. There's so many other breads out there that I want to try.
Exactly. You just summed up my point perfectly in a way that I never could for some reason.
But I'm talking about the Vulp.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the Kraken.
No, I'm talking about the Vulp. I'm not talking about the Kraken.
Well, you said white bread, so I thought, oh.
No, I'm describing the Vulp. I would say the Vulp is something like white bread. It's like, yeah, you start with it, but it's not going to be great for everything. Maybe, okay, it's good at being sandwich bread. Is it good for anything but sandwich bread and croutons? Is there any, or toast?
See, I don't know if the point is resonating with me because I would never describe the Vulp as white bread. The Vulp is not a standard. And that's where I guess we just have different
opinions on white bread.
The Vulp is not a standard that everyone can enjoy in the right context. The Vulp is a beginner-focused balisong that doesn't flip the greatest once you get better at flipping.
Here's a whole other layer to this argument.
Are we going to look at the comments soon?
White bread is objectively unhealthy. And objectively a bread you should not be regularly consuming.
So is flipping a live blade. What? Ah, yes.
Touche. The
comment. Thing that I shouldn't be eating. Meanwhile, we're spinning a sharp, not sharp. Sorry, YouTube. No, we're spinning a knife on our fingers.
No, but within Balisongs, should you be flipping live? Like, is it bad to be flipping a Kraken?
No.
Should you stay away from regularly flipping a Kraken?
No,
or should only have it in small doses? No, this is a whole other layer to this argument.
Isn't this the same?
Shouldn't even apply.
Wouldn't it be the same thing for sour bread too, or sourdough? Isn't
Pretty
that,
much, yeah. Eating any bread in excess is bad. Yes, yeah.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. No, anyway, but I think you made a really good point with the white bread thing, because white bread, if you first start out, is really, really good. But then as you mature, or as you find your taste, you might go to prefer some other breads. And I think that's the best way to describe the Kraken. Some people will never make a sandwich with anything other than white bread. I know, because that's literally me. Mostly because I don't have anything better to do, but like, you know.
And that's, I guess, a reminder. That's where we differ. Yeah. I have expanded my horizons a lot in terms of types of bread.
Stuck with the Kraken.
No, and that is why I'm like, it's sourdough, because I've tried so many different types of bread. You think the Kraken is white bread, having eaten white bread.
Well, no, in the Balisong hobby, I have tried all those other breads, and I've moved on to a different, better type of bread.
Okay.
I'm talking in, like, my real life experience with white bread is like Banks. You know, Banks is just a Kraken shill. He loves the Kraken. He flips nothing but the Kraken. That's like that.
Okay.
So my real life bread experience and my Balisong bread experience, very different. We're getting lost. We should look at the comments now.
That's what's so funny about the debate. Because so before we dive into the comments, because there's a specific comment that actually supports what you're saying, and that's ultimate, like, separating the bit. Like, it is just a fascinating way to gauge like where people are in the hobby,
right,
and what is important to you, and that's where, at the end of the day, neither of us are wrong when you really break it down, because it's a personal experience.
Well,
we talk all live long day. We talk all live long day about how subjective these things are. So that's where doing it objectively is just a whole journey in itself, or is just very difficult. But so one of the comments that stood out to me, which was something I wanted to dispel a little bit, was somebody said, they're one of our Patreon supporters, Kumi. They said, I would say the Kraken isn't sourdough, but more like a nicer white bread, like Hardy or something. And the reason, this is the thing I wanted to address, and the reason Brandon sees it as more is because it's his first real Balisong, which gives it that bit of bias in that way, when the only other things he's had were stale, generic, dry white bread. It really is just a jack of all trades, but but if that's what someone likes, then they'll really, really like it, like Brandon. And that's what I wanted to dispel. Back in the day, sure. Maybe nowadays, like, this is so amazing to me. But like I was just saying to you, I came around. This is me, my entire collection.
Yeah.
That's where it stands out to me. Is sourdough bread my favorite bread? No. But it has that extra bit of flavor.
Okay.
The Kraken is not my absolute favorite Balisong. Something like the Seraph would fall into that. Something like the Nautilus would maybe fall into that. So to clarify that, sourdough bread is not my absolute favorite bread. It is just that little bit more. Just that little bit more.
Okay.
So that was an interesting thing. I actually responded to Kumi's comment. And was like, no, like I've, at that point that I made this decision that it's sourdough, like I've tried like 300 plus Balisongs and owned over 30 of them. And they were like, yeah, that's fair. Honestly, I had 5 a.m. brain and didn't consider that. So that was funny. One very interesting opinion or not even a full thing that agreed with you. Buffalo Dingus said, I'm with Ethan, Kraken is white bread. And that's an opinion I trust a lot. Because Buffalo Dingus,
that's all he said?
He's all over That's all he said.
I was hoping for more.
He said,
Buffalo.
"Love the new intro. So glad to see the podcast back and happy to see Brandon co-host. I'm with Ethan, cracking his white bread."
I was hoping for him to expand on that a little bit,
but in terms of the top,
so you don't trust my opinion? You're talking all about how the Vulp Pro. Oh my god, I need to.
No,
see
I do. I do trust your
I'm
opinion.
I'm messing with you.
the top comment with it's only like 7 upvotes, I think. The top comment is Brandon convinced me cracking in sourdough.
I think so overall the community is on your side. I think I saw more people agreeing with you than agreeing with me, which is okay. I'm fine with being the underdog, baby. But I do think because I'll be honest, pull back the curtain a little bit. You have tripped me up pretty hard in this episode with some of your things. I think that maybe white bread isn't what I really think the Kraken is. Even though in my head it makes sense, when you apply any sort of logic to it, it kind of falls apart. But I certainly disagree that it's sourdough. Sourdough is too nice.
Oh, well, so that we got to get you a little spread of bread with maybe like some cheeses and stuff like that, and see like what stands
fancy.
out. Like something like let's get some toasted bread with some cheese on it. Because Adriana and I were talking about this. So here's an interesting thing. We watched the podcast episode. She loves bread. She will literally eat an entire loaf of bread unironically and be completely content. She loves just eating bread by itself. She loves it. So that's why I wanted to show her this debate. I'm like, you have to watch this. It'll be really entertaining. I said that the squid trainer kind of felt like white bread, which I don't know that I really stand by now.
I could see it.
That kind of felt like white bread to me. And I had her flip the Kraken, and I had her flip the squid trainer. And she said, neither of them are white bread. They're both way higher quality than what I would ever classify white bread as. So I thought that, and she was the one that was like, I feel like the Vulp is white bread. Because it's just cheap. You can get it really easily. It's not going to be the best for everything. Like I wouldn't use white bread in a lot of stuff, but if I needed it, for like making some toast, or I needed it for a sandwich, but I would always choose something a little bit higher quality, and something like the squid trainer feels more like sourdough than white bread. So that was a real, and so for clarification, she can do a like one like thumb roll over. She can do an aerial. She can chaplain. Nothing too crazy, but she gives very, very interesting opinions on ballad songs. So that was really, really interesting to me. That neither the squid trainer or the Kraken were white bread. But what's a comment that stands out to you?
I will have to say, probably from Sam really Hill.
Okay.
Who said, while I see Ethan's point, I feel like the Kraken is just too good for me to say that it's white bread. It's something special about how consistent it is and how good it feels. And then he pointed out that we put it in S tier, which I think is the overall disconnect. Because I say all the time that the Kraken is amazing, but then I can't describe white bread as amazing. The problem is I can't think of another bread that doesn't stand out to me, but is also higher quality than white bread, His sourdough would stand out to me. The whole point is that the Kraken, for me, doesn't stand out. It's standard. It works anywhere. It's very good, but it is very standard. And I think that's the disconnect. I'm not talking about the quality, per se, which is why I say it's a nice white bread, because you can get nice white breads. But that was the comment, I think, that kind of led me to think, maybe I should be using a different bread here. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so a comment that stood out to me was J0 Nin Panda. Let's say Jonin Panda. They said, so I think I have an answer to this heated debate between sourdough and versus white bread.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's dependent on when you entered the community. When the Kraken was first released, it was so difficult to get on a drop. But when you got one, it was one of the most consistent, dependent, and predictable ballad songs one could buy. It was made for flipping, and for everyone at the time, that was like, whoa, sourdough bread. As time went by and new flippers came into the community, Squid started ramping up on production, and it became easily accessible. But by then, the Kraken was the standard in excellence of flipping. White bread. Kraken is a jack of all trades, but master of none, like Ethan said. It's just different perspectives depending on when you came into the community. Every single one of us loves to flip different battle songs because they provide new and different experiences. But we can always go back to the old reliable, which is the Kraken, an industry standard, as the overall best battle song for all levels of flipping. It wasn't always like that, though, so I agree with Brandon. The Kraken is sourdough. I forgot that they ultimately agreed with me. But I thought that was a really good point.
It is.
And, Ethan, when did you start flipping? When did you get into the hobby?
2021, baby. Long after the Kraken came out.
2018.
Yep.
The Kraken released in 2019.
Yep.
So I think that is an excellent point as to where we are opposed. And maybe I do have that little bit of bias left over, as I remember when this came out, the review we made of it was like, Will was just, what the hell? Oh my God. Like, no, don't even adjust this thing. It's so good. Like, oh my God. But but now amidst everything else, maybe it's lowered a peg.
It makes me wonder where Machine Wise is going, because the way that they're going, they're kind of poised to take over like maybe the standard of the market. So maybe we'll have a guest on, if this podcast is still going in years down the line, who knows, where someone is like, no, the Prisma Pro or the Slift TV 2 is white bread, because when that came out, it was fucking amazing. But then a few years down the line, it's pretty normal. Everyone's used to it. It's an interesting debate.
Yeah, maybe this whole debate maybe this whole debate will age extremely poorly, and people are like, "What the hell?" They were saying the Cracker Rack and his sourdough bread. What the hell were they on about?
Are you saying that this debate might be entirely pointless at the end of the day? No way.
No, it can't be.
No, my favorite comment though is definitely, all of this bread talk is making my brain toast. Shout out that guy. Shout out Luz Arrow 1.
Yeah, one person said, Dark Angel 999. Two adults argue about bread and which battle songs represent which type of bread. That's exactly what I'm here for. And Ethan, we're providing a service.
At the end of the day,
we are in a niche within a niche within a niche, and we are inventing a new niche discussion amidst a niche and a niche and a niche.
Yeah. Hey, beautiful. And I can't wait to ask someone else in the future what bread they think the Kraken is. It's going to be so fun.
Well, and the thing that's going to throw a wrench in all of this is it's neither of these breads. It's a bread that neither of us have tried.
That's what I hope. No, that's what I hope. Yeah. It's like, I don't know if you watch, there's a podcast out there called Chuckle Sandwich with Jay Schlatt, and people say I look like one of the hosts, Slimesicle. But they ask all of their guests what part of the sandwich they would be, and they have to come back with the most like whatever. I hope it is someone comes on and they're like, it's whole wheat or some BS like that, and then we just get into this three-way yelling fest where we're just like, how could you possibly say that?
That's everything that I hope for.
Yeah,
in every way. So we're definitely like what I would love to do. I'd love to just make you a standard ass American cheese grilled cheese.
Okay.
White bread, sourdough bread. Because again, I'm not necessarily here looking to. I do make a damn good grilled cheese. I'm not sitting here trying to disprove you. I genuinely want to know.
Right.
So come Blade Show, we might have to have like some little get together, because I want to walk around Blade Show with a little bread platter and just you have the bread,
that would
then
be
you
so
have a Kraken
sick.
And some other thing, and like, what bread is this? Flip this and then eat this bread and let me know what you think. That would be so funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would just be phenomenal. I don't think there's anything else I could say besides that's a top tier bit.
Well, and so probably my favorite comment to wrap this up, someone just DX floss _ gone. But you guys would make a really beautiful couple, no offense.
He was talking about you and Will,
Which,
to be very clear.
no, not me and Will.
Yeah.
Wait, was he?
Yeah.
He said no offense to Will's husband.
Because in the last episode, we talked about how people thought that you two were dating or married or whatever.
Oh, I thought they were talking about us.
No,
because they were thinking that Will and okay, I see. But no, but I say this because this feels like this argument feels like a small, like border skirmish bickering thing that a couple would have that didn't matter, but is just so core to like this is a core part of our relationship now.
You go to bed at night and you're just up for hours talking about that one specific thing that doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's I know we're going over time, but here's one that I wanted to point out. Someone said, oh shoot, I just saw it while I was scrolling down. I need to find it again. White bread isn't fair, but sourdough is also a little too quirky. I'd say the Kraken is vanilla ice cream. What kind of bread do you put on your sandwiches?
Wait, you're asking me?
No, I'm asking that guy. I think the Kraken is vanilla ice cream. I don't want to see what kind of sandwiches you make.
Oh yeah, you replied. That's not bread, you goof. I replied to one person's comment where they were saying that like white bread would pretty much what you said, that it's the gold standard of bread. And I said something like, if that is the gold standard of bread, we have very, very different opinions on the types of bread and what is possible with it.
Maybe white bread isn't the gold standard of bread. Maybe I should be really rethinking this, but I can't. I'll go down with my ship.
But yeah, there were a lot of good comments in here. Yeah, one person said, or Tanicalidi. I think the way I'm interpreting this is Ethan's POV is that the Kraken is a jack of all trades and master of none, but Brandon's POV is the jack of all trades, master of all.
Yeah.
And I personally agree that that standalone only taking those two statements in of themselves with Brandon more, but the Kraken definitely with how consistent and reliable it is more of a master of all than none. But at the same time, you can also relate it back to Ethan's POV. It's just very interesting. So like
nuance,
this is just a whole
something that our debate doesn't have.
Yeah. Yeah, but and to clarify again, I want to make it clear. I'm not me saying that the Kraken is sourdough bread is not. It's the best battle song that's ever existed in the history of everything. It's just, it's not standard. Like if I was handed this, I'd be like, ooh, great.
Ooh.
The same way if someone was like, hey, here's a grilled cheese. Oh, is it on white bread? No, I put it on sourdough. Oh.
Ooh. Ah.
Oh.
Eee.
Oh, wow. Cool. Great. Like if somebody handed me a Vulp, I'd be like, oh, okay. I'll flip it. Sure. But if it's sourdough, I'm like, ooh.
Someone handed me a Vulp, I'd be like,
great.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. As soon as I Chaplin it.
Does this one Chaplin? I think this one. I think
that one Chaplin way better.
Yeah. Part of me still does want. I actually fought pretty hard for this to exist. Part of me does kind of want like a Vulp, like
a Vulp V2,
V3. Well, that was something that annoyed me with Nibalis. They called the Vulp V. They made the new hardware. The Vulp V2 with the new hardware. I'm like,
right,
that's not a V2.
No.
But no, like I guess it would technically be a Vulp V3. But that's where I still feel like this would have a place, like if it was like $10-15 more and just made it little bit.
What if you just changed the Vulp a little bit? I feel like you could do a little bit like, hey, let's do what we did with the Vulp Pro, where we made the bottle opener a little bigger, took out some of that pivot weight, and let's change the Vulp a little bit, make it a little bit better.
Yeah, I am not opposed to that, especially if it was more affordable than the Vulp.
Will hit my line. No, please don't. I don't want to be a part of that process.
It's a very, very fun process. Developing a product with a Chinese manufacturer that has a 12-hour time difference, where you have to speak in broken English, is exactly as fun as it sounds.
Yeah. I want to stay far away from designing a ballad song, personally.
Yeah. I don't blame you. It's a whole
Even if Dalen reached out and he was like, yo, you want to design something? I would say, my God, I don't know what I'm doing.
Dalen's great to work with. I have nothing but good things to say about working with Dalen.
I would love to work with Dalen, but like I couldn't design a ballad song. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so tough. But anyway, I think that pretty much wraps us up.
I think it does.
For today's episode of the Blade Bias podcast.
Released in January.
We covered a lot of ground here in January. And then so this is my final thing to touch on, because this is a future topic that we will cover in some way, because it will likely be ballad song related. I'm not going to say when for privacy reasons, but I don't think we're going to be doing an episode of this podcast for a bit, especially with you going back to school. So I'll likely be, this trip will have taken place, but I am going to New Zealand for an undetermined amount of time, or not an undetermined, it's determined, it's all planned.
Undisclosed.
I won't say, again, for privacy reasons, but it's going to be for a good long bit. And I'm going to try to bring a ballad song.
Oh, boy.
And I have ways to do it that I think will work. Ballad songs are not legal in New Zealand, but of course, technically no trainers are illegal anywhere because they're not knives. And that's usually what's outlawed is knives.
To be clear, you're not talking about bringing a live blade.
I'm not going to bring a live blade. No, I'm not going to bring a live blade. Especially because I don't plan to check a bag. So that's the other thing about this. I'm going to attempt to bring a metal ballad song. My plan is to take it apart.
Oh, God.
Can I take it apart and have it not raise any red flags?
And I'm
going to bring, and I'm holding up the Vulp Pro. I'm not going to bring a Vulp Pro. Maybe just be like a Vulp, something that's expendable that, like, if they take it, no big deal. It's a problem. Sure, take it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that thing being gone. I'm going to bring a plastic one, like a calico or something like that. Something that is not even remotely close to a knife, or like looking like a knife. But that's going to be a journey. And this trip is something that I have anticipated doing for my entire adult life, saved for my entire adult life, and have specifically structured my freelance work lifestyle around being able to do this trip. And it's finally happening, and I will have a lot of stories to share, and we will cover that in a future podcast episode.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
And we will see, was I able to successfully fly like 4,000 or 5,000 miles across the Pacific Ocean to a foreign country, get a ballad song there, flip it there. Will I have had problems? Will I not? Will I have interactions with people in New Zealand that are like, what the hell is that? I'm a local. What? Will I have some stories to share? I don't know. Will I be able to get it back?
I don't know.
Into the United States. I don't know, but I feel like that'll be an interesting topic.
I think the problem is the international part. I unknowingly flew with a squid trainer on a plane once.
Yeah. I mean, I got my Nautilus in a carry-on, and that was no problem.
I didn't know it was in there, and then I was in a grocery store when we got to Florida. I reached into my bag, and I felt the squid trainer in there, and I was like, holy shit.
I can't imagine that feeling.
I was like, that was a $200 risk that I forgot to check in this bag and take out. That's really awesome. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, best of luck to you. I hope that goes great.
Thank you. It's going to be very, very, very cool. And that's the reason that I am working like an absolute madman on mostly YouTube stuff, is because it's going to be a long trip. And not going to be working in New Zealand, I promise you that. Other than...
I hope not. You better
maybe
not.
Working on some tricks. I don't know.
Ooh.
I'm going to take photos.
We come back,
and I'm gonna vlog things.
Okay.
For the sake of the memory, like not like I'm gonna be vlogging like, "What's up, guys? Welcome to blah, blah, blah. In this video we're doing," like, just record some stuff on my phone, like things like that, just for the memory.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna be doing. Maybe that'll be turned into a video. Again, not like I'm gonna record stuff to make a YouTube video. I might make a video personally for me, and then maybe share that with people. But I promise you, the actual work I will not be doing. And I've even told people
Fair
like Will. He was like, "Hey, can you like do this, like post some of this stuff in New Zealand, and like if we need to have a meeting?" I'm like, no,
based.
no, none of that at all. And there's a 14-hour time difference, so that would be really difficult anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for indulging me on my New Zealand thing. So
Of course.
that'll probably be the next episode of this podcast. Well, I will be the most well-traveled I've ever been, because I'm not, I promise I'm not rich, and going to New Zealand is not cheap and not something that I could have ever afforded without saving for it for a long, long time.
And good for you.
I'm excited, and I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. So there we go. Anyway, Ethan, you want to sign us out?
I would love to sign us out. Thank you, everyone, for watching the 7th episode of the Blade Bias podcast.
7th episode.
I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Holy shit, there were 69 comments on the last one. That's so sick. Nice. Thank you for watching the 7th episode, where we didn't talk about white bread for another half an hour. And
nope, we never.
Well, man, you know who we are. Brandon, at the Brandon Baker on Instagram, at the Will Hirsch on YouTube, I think. Is that your YouTube at?
I think I should know that off the top of my head.
The links will be in the description. I mean, you know.
It's Will Hirsch, at Will Hirsch.
At Will Hirsch. Yeah. And then your personal account at Brandon Baker Clone or something like that.
Yes, yeah. If you search Brandon's Balisong Corner, is that.
I'll have the links in the description like last time. I, of course, if you don't know who I am, that's a skill issue. And I quite frankly, I think it would be funny not to introduce myself if you don't know who I am, if you've watched this long. So thank you all for watching. And we will see you in the next one. Because this is going to come out in January.
January. Well, I sure love this being in January. This video.
Love January
because your laptop is fine.
Yes.
And it's definitely not February, right?
No.
It's not February. Is it?
We're screwed. Goodbye.
Goodbye.